Hello dear listeners, this is the second part of the Torres River analysis, and in this video we introduce you the design that we have been working on. But first, let's give an account of the introduction and the objectives.
Two important elements present in ecosystem services are biodiversity and habitat. Biodiversity is the variation of life forms on the planet, and the habitat is a place that meets the conditions for an organism, animal, or plant species to live. In recent decades, there has been an increase in the population of the city, which has resulted in a damage of the habitats and various native species of the banks of the Torres River. In this research and analysis will be made with the aim of providing solutions to this problem through eco-urban practices.
General objective: to propose a regenerative design for improved biodiversity and habitat of the waters margin to Torres rivers, applying the concept of eco-urbanism for the most affected section in the border area between Goicoechea and La Merced.
As a synthesis, this map shows the critical points with the greater environmental degradation that present the possibility of intervening and directly treating the ecosystem services of biodiversity and habitat. We find great value in consolidating the Torres River as an interurban biological corridor, providing the necessary environmental to be a place of refuge, nesting and rest for residents and migratory species. You can see on the left the riparian single-family houses in the present moment time, most of which are one level height. On the right you can see the design of the proposal, in which vertical housing of 4 levels height are proposed. In the visuals, you can see the ideas corresponding to the proposal in terms of housing design based on student work in a design workshop.
We are working to regenerate the native riverside vegetation, taking advantage of the 10 meters of legal withdrawals. Mixed gardens are proposed for the green areas and public space of the residential complex, focused on food production, water treatment, as well as recreational and culture of the green zone. We designed 5 meters as a water buffer zone, focuses on artificial wetlands and plants with the ability to filter and improve the soil.
Among eco-urban strategies that we are taking into account in this proposed are kiosks on environmental issues, which intend to give work to the residents of the proposed homes. In the issue of recycling and handling of non-recyclable waste will be handled. The second one is productive gardens, in which the housing residents can plant their own food in an ecological way.
Intermodal biological corridor focuses on maximizing physical spatial connections that guarantee greater natural mobility on the urban layout. Biotic and abiotic segmentation is made to define the ecological mobility networks. Consider the bicycle lanes as a structure of perimeter roads accompanied by a network of wetlands that allow an ecological organization of the rainwater reserve and the harvesting of water, connecting the UCR nature reserve with the Torres River system.
The proposal for artificial wetlands responds to the need to treat greywater from the proposed housing complexes in order to address the problem of wastewater pollution. Artificial wetlands are man-made areas in which, in a controlled manner, mechanisms for the elimination of pollutants present in wastewater are reproduced, which occur in natural wetlands by means of physical, biological, and chemical processes. The artificial character of this type of wetland is defined by the confinement of the wetland, which is mechanically constructed and waterproofed to avoid water losses to the subsoil. The use of substrates different from the original soil for the rooting of plants and the selection of the plants that will colonize the wetland. The map shows the location of each artificial wetland in relation to the proposed housing complex. It is intended to use the slope of the land so that the water circulates by gravity until it is properly processed and can be returned to the river. It can be seen in the pictures some reference of existing projects where it incorporates the design of vegetation of the wetland in an attractive landscape proposal for the city. On the other hand, the land is occupied to avoid future invasions, thus protecting the riverbanks. The proposal corresponds to the need to mitigate the risk of flooding. So the lagoons have been located in relation to the areas of risk. The idea is to place these lagoons parallel to the river, allowing them to grow without affecting the environment. Once the flooding period is over, the water in the retention ponds gradually seeps into the ground. The following pictures show some examples of countries that have integrated these alternative solutions into the landscape design, creating a recreational environment and allowing people to approach the river in a controlled manner. The retention ponds can provide both stormwater attenuation and treatment. They are designed to support emergent and submerged aquatic vegetation along their shoreline. Runoff from each rain event is detained and treated in the pool. The retention time promotes pollutant removal through sedimentation and the opportunity for biological uptake mechanisms to reduce nutrient concentrations.
Water is essential for climate regulation, natural ecosystems, and its pollution has several ecological impacts. It threatens all water-dependent ecosystems, flora, fauna, and humans included. With the repercussions of urbanization and climate change, water pollution puts an ever greater pressure on flora and fauna, drifting in problems in the hydroecological cycle, floods, activities of all water-dependent organisms such as humans, our health and quality of life. Also, economical problems with water-related activities such as agriculture, energy production, and it also has a direct economic repercussion in the cost of solving these problems and finding solutions for them. To treat these problems, we have to start to promote the implementation of environmental and social management plans, a set of mitigation, monitor, impacts, and institutional measures to be taken during the implementation and operation of the project's activities, to eliminate adverse environmental and social impacts, offset them or reduce them to acceptable levels, including the actions needed to implement these measures. Also, reforestation projects to increase the implementation of flora in water quality treatments and the protection of watershed ecosystems and the organisms depending on them. Wetlands and retention lagoons, which can provide solutions to problems related to water quality like the elimination of organic matter, solid waste, pathogens, agricultural wastes, and the retention and control of rainwater to provide a better river and watershed's quality.